what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Hawaii ponoi nanai komoi kalani ali'i ke ali'i makua lani e kamehameha e na kaua e pale me ka ihe Hawaii ponoi nanai na ili na pua muliko na poki'i makua lani e kamehameha e na kaua e pale me ka ihe Hawaii ponoi e kalahui e o ka uhana nui e ui e makua lani e kamehameha e na kaua e pale me ka ihe.
Aloha, and welcome to Moanalo High School's Class of 2020 Virtual Commencement. My name is Andrew Dinowin.
And my name is Lara Penarigan. We will be your hosts for this celebration. Andrew, I admit, this is not how I envisioned the ending of our school year, let alone our commencement. But Moanalo High School has so many amazing traditions that make this a very special place. I do have a feeling that tonight will honor some of those traditions and become a special memory for the Class of 2020.
Lara, you're right. The Moanalo community has many cherished traditions. Plus, we are a resilient community that adapts to the challenges, and we will celebrate. We will celebrate our accomplishments, our successes, our friendships, and our memories. So let's begin with one of our traditions of acknowledging those who helped us along our high school journey.
Absolutely. We have arrived at this point with the help of many people in our school community, and we want to thank those groups and organizations who have supported us throughout our 4 years. The Hawaii Department of Education, the Board of Education, our state legislators, the Moanalua High School administrators, all the teachers and staff of Moanalua High School. And we would also like to thank the Moanalua Alumni Foundation for sponsoring our broadcast this evening. Most importantly, we want to thank our families. Throughout our lives thus far, and maybe even more so this year, our families have been our source of support, comfort, encouragement, and strength. We send out a heartfelt thank you.
This commencement is a recognition of the dedication and achievements for the Class of 2020. As the culmination of this school year has shown, our journey has been challenging. But we will emerge stronger, and we will have gained invaluable life lessons and a lifetime of memories. The administration at Moanalo High School has been very instrumental in our growth through their guidance and support over the years. They have helped shape our learning and have set a foundation for the future. At this time, I wish to introduce to you our principal, Ms. Robin Martin.
Aloha and welcome to all of you to the graduating class of 2020 commencement ceremony at Moanalua High School. I could never have imagined that I would be welcoming you in this way. I could never have imagined that the seniors would not be sitting here beside me with their classmates. And I never dreamed that the stadium bleachers would not be full of family, friends, holding signs, balloons, and leis. I could never have imagined that this wouldn't have been the same kind of ceremony that I have experienced here at Moanalua High School for the last 20 years. And I certainly could not imagine that I would not be able to shake the hands of the seniors, give them a hug as they receive their diploma. I'm always honored to be the principal of Moanalua High School, but today I feel especially fortunate to have known the students in the class of 2020. I want to thank all of them for sharing their high school years with me. I may not know all of you well, but I want to thank all of you for your courage. I want you to know how much my heart has gone out to you this past quarter. These were months that should have included a prom, sporting events, concerts, and awards, and the memories that come with all of those. But what I can imagine, what I know, and what I trust is that all of you are strong and resilient, and that you know that you are as much a part of Moanalua High School as any graduating class has ever been. I do believe that you will continue to responsibly create your future despite the adversity that we currently face. And I know that regardless of how it's done, this is a time for you to celebrate. Celebrate your accomplishments and revel in the wonderful memories of your past years of schooling. You, the class of 2020, are about to become proud alumni of Moanalua High School. I hope that you will always serve as positive role models and that you will give back to this community as you continue to learn, grow, and improve as an individual. Please hold the good memories dear to your heart. They far outweigh the recent difficulties we have faced. I am proud of you, and I ask that you remember to thank your parents, teachers, and friends, and all of those who helped get you to this time of celebration. They have helped you become the person you are now, the person who will move forward beyond all of this moment in time, and help all of us create a better future. I miss you, I wish you were here beside me, and I wish you the best. Please, please take care. Aloha, and again, congratulations, class of 2020.
Thank you, Ms. Martin. The officers of the class of 2020 represent their classmates and lead them to create lasting memories. Our senior class president, Ryan Fielding, encouraged all of us to persevere to this moment, the very last night of our high school career. Although Ryan had many responsibilities to shoulder, he did not hesitate to help each class committee. Through highs and lows, challenges and frustrations, Ryan provided steady, strong leadership. And most of all, he put his heart into serving our senior class. It is my honor to present our senior class president, Ryan Fielding, who will now share some of our memories with you.
Before I address the senior class, I would like to address those around them. To the family and friends of our graduates, I would like to say thank you. You are the ones who raised them to be the fine young adults I get to call my friends. Thank you for being nurturing and supportive, especially as we cope with the crushing disappointments these last few months have brought. Thank you so much. Now to address our class. You guys deserve so much. You deserve one last quarter of high school. Maybe not to be in class the whole time, but to have the opportunity to see your teachers and friends. To have that closure with the programs you've been preparing for, and to have the satisfaction to be able to cheer as the bell rang on our very last day of class. You deserve to sing our alma mater for the last time in front of all our friends and family. We worked so hard on it, for crying out loud. My favorite memory of our class is from one of our graduation song practices in the cafeteria. We were about 1/3 through our alma mater when the bell rang for us to head to period 5. I expected to see people pick up their backpacks and leave mid-sentence, but you didn't. The entire class had enough respect for our school and our alma mater to stay in the caf till we sang the very last All Hail. You deserve a graduation on our home field, just like every class before us. I don't know if we'll ever get to have any of that, but I do know that we have a lot more to look forward to beyond graduation, beyond high school, because this part's over, and that's so sad. What we did have was great, wasn't it? Things are never going to be the same, but the time we had together was perfect. It's scary to think about the future. Scary to think about where you're headed, into the unknown. Whether it's going to college, joining the military, heading into the workforce, becoming a sugar baby, wherever your life leads you. It's a daunting thought, and you're probably feeling like you're lost in the woods. When that feeling kicks in, all is found when you use high school as a guide to overcome the challenge that causes your fear. We survived through some pretty difficult things over the last 4 years. Heck, we're living through the most difficult of them right now. We overcame a rocky freshman year. We overcame those bright pink shirts. We overcame getting 3rd place in homecoming twice. We overcame stadium lights that never worked when we wanted them to. We overcame 15 exam weeks, and we will overcome this pandemic and the disappointment of not getting what we thought we deserved. The world led us through so many twists and turns, and we showed the world exactly what a graduate of Moanalua High School's class of 2020 is. We are resilient. When adversity comes along, we don't back down. We stand up to the challenge. We persevere until we get what we deserve. No matter what hardship you face in the future, don't let it hold you back from having that future you deserve, because you all deserve something great. Thank you, Moanalua High School's class of 2020. It's been one heck of a ride. I can't wait to see what the future holds.
Thank you, Ryan, for the inspiring words. Our College and Career Counselor, Ms. Rebecca Himuro, will present the valedictorians of the class of 2020.
The State of Hawaii Department of Education defines a valedictorian as a student who has earned a cumulative grade point average of 4.0 or higher and has also successfully earned at least one of the 3 honor recognition certificates: academic honors, career and technical education honors, or STEM, science, technology, engineering, mathematics honors. This means that they either took Moanalua High School's most rigorous coursework, completed a specific program of study, or created a science and engineering-based project that was showcased in a state science fair. These students have met these rigorous requirements. I am honored to introduce them now as our 2020 Moanalua High School valedictorians. Safira Akins is the daughter of Ray and Stacy Akins. She will be attending Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University, Prescott, and majoring in aerospace engineering. Peona Ayau Odom is the daughter of Kaipo Leimanu Odom and Rachel Ayau Odom. She will be attending Seattle University and majoring in English. Terang Bay is the daughter of Ilkwan Bay and Youngshin Park. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in finance. Priscilla Bay is the daughter of Kevin and Min Jung Bay. She will be attending Chapman University and majoring in business administration with an emphasis in finance. Kaylin Berseman is the daughter of Dennis and Sonia Berseman. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in microbiology. Samantha Chang is the daughter of Craig and Gail Chang. She will be attending Oregon State University and majoring in chemistry education. Jabron Emerson Jr. is the son of Sujin and Jabron Emerson Sr. He will be attending the University of Virginia and majoring in biomedical engineering. Vincent Fan is the son of Wyman Fan and Ping Liu Mai. He will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in mechanical engineering. Maria Ferreira is the daughter of Raul Ferreira and Maria Correa. She will be attending Universidad de los Andes and majoring in history. Amy Jiang is the daughter of Fu and Huang Jiang. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in biology. Jaden Ginoza is the son of Chad and Sherry Ginoza. He will be attending Arizona State University and majoring in computer systems engineering. Timothy Ham is the son of Won Suk and Yu Kyung Ham. He will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in computer science. Ili He is the daughter of Chao Din He and Ho Chin Chen. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in pre-engineering. Kate Helbush is the daughter of Tyler and Stephanie Helbush. She will be attending the United States Air Force Academy and majoring in political science with a minor in nuclear weapons strategy. Alyssa Hirai is the daughter of Keith Hirai and Ayako Kanzawa. She will be attending Georgetown University and majoring in international politics. Rachel Hewlett is the daughter of Adam and Karin Hewlett. She will be attending Brigham Young University Provo and majoring in theater studies and history. Kylie Hung is the daughter of Mark and Sherry Hung. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Carissa Ng is the daughter of Robert Ng and Ni Wang. She will be attending Seattle Pacific University. Dallas Inouye is the daughter of Russell and Gwen Inouye. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in biology. Corinne Issa is the daughter of Alton and Colleen Issa. She will be attending the University of Notre Dame and majoring in biochemistry. Dwight Ju is the son of Jay and Faith Ju. He will be attending the University of Southern California and majoring in psychology. Kiana Kawahara is the daughter of Joelle Kawahara. She will be attending the University of North Texas and majoring in music performance. Kimi Kawasaki is the daughter of Teiji and Julie Kawasaki. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in botany. Emily Luthner is the daughter of Scott and Amy Luthner. She will be attending the University of North Georgia and majoring in early childhood education. Joyce Lin is the daughter of Wei Ming Lin and Jing Yun Wu. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in architecture. Brianne Lewis Mary is the daughter of Brandon Mary and Brandy Lewis. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in biology. Jenna Lynch is the daughter of Joseph and Nie Lynch. She will be attending the University of Wisconsin-Madison and majoring in mechanical engineering. Jaden Marbury is the son of Thomas and Malin Marbury. He will be attending Texas Christian University and majoring in biochemistry and pre-medicine. Isabella McCrae is the daughter of Kenneth and Leah McCrae. She will be attending the University of California, Los Angeles and majoring in environmental science. Kristen Mimura is the daughter of Ryan and Valerie Mimura. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in computer science. Zachary Moritzen is the son of Michael and Danielle Moritzen. He will be attending Brigham Young University Provo and majoring in mechanical engineering. Vivian Nguyen is the daughter of Quat Man and Kim Wan Tae Nguyen. She will be attending Hawaii Pacific University and majoring in public health. Lyra Ponarigan is the daughter of Ramon and Lynn Ponarigan. She will be attending Arizona Christian University and majoring in communications with an emphasis in broadcast journalism. Azana Queen is the daughter of Eric and Siddiqa Queen. She will be attending Stanford University and majoring in physics with a concentration in astronomy. Norifumi Takami is the son of Kazuo and Hiromi Takami. He will be attending Generation Peace Academy. Sherfei Tei is the daughter of Ricky Tei and Ji Hui Pen. She will be attending Santa Clara University and majoring in marketing and economics. Joshua Villanueva is the son of Noel and Emmeline Villanueva. He will be attending the University of San Francisco and majoring in computer science. Carol Wong is the daughter of Jimmy and Lorene Wong. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in computer science. Michelle Yamamoto is the daughter of Andrew and Eddie Yamamoto. She will be attending International Christian University and majoring in liberal arts. Alicia Zong is the daughter of Sean Zong and Teresa Khan. She will be attending the University of Hawaii at Manoa and majoring in public health.
Congratulations to all our valedictorians of our class of 2020. And now we'll hear from our top valedictorian, Corin Issa.
On behalf of the class of 2020, I would like to thank our principal, Ms. Robin Martin, vice principals, counselors, registrar, senior class advisor, Mrs. Sandra Nakagawa Saito, and everyone else who helped to provide us with this opportunity this evening. We appreciate your efforts to help us bring closure to our senior year. I would also like to thank my teachers, coaches, mentors, friends, family, grandparents, and most of all, my parents and sister for their unconditional love and support throughout the years. You have not only shown me the kind of person who I aspire to be, but have guided me in becoming who I am today. Class of 2020, you too have been the beneficiaries of the love and support of those around us. We have all been shaped by the memories made, people met, and lessons learned. Our life is a gift from time and those we love. We can each define life in millions of different ways, but one thing is certain. Life is just a matter of time. Life comes with limits that make some things inevitable, but those limits also make life and the time we share valuable. Entering high school, it seems everyone is told the famous, high school will go by before you know it, by the people who have been through it. But at the time, none of us believes it was true. From the very first day of school during our freshman year until today, 1,391 days have passed. The number of days looks so large, yet looking back, it seems as though it was barely any time at all. Of course, within the many days, there were moments I wish the clock could stop. When I needed more time on a test, when I needed a breath of air during a volleyball game, or when I was just hanging out with my friends and not realizing that the boba shop we're in would close in just 10 minutes. And then there were also those moments that I wish time could speed up. When I wanted to go home after having a bad day, when I wanted to get out of the freezing cold classrooms, or just when I couldn't wait for spring break because it would mean a little time to relax and a break from stress. I think wanting time to go by quickly is something we have all occasionally been guilty of. But today, we've come to realize that even the hardest, most grueling moments are ones that we will surely miss. I can safely say that I think many of us feel robbed of the experiences that seem to have been taken away from us. We would sit in a hot gym, on the bleachers in the sun, or in the cafeteria just for more time together and to end our senior year the way we had imagined. None of us expected to go out for spring break and never come back to the classroom, never play the season we worked so hard for, never complete the project we were going to work on in the fourth quarter, never see our friends and teachers before the year ended, and never experience the bittersweet tears and echoing cheers of our last day of high school. We thought that returning from spring break, we would have 39 more school days together, including May Day and Senior Spirit Week. We thought we would have prom, and of course, we thought we would have one last assembly in the gym together before walking out onto the athletic field where we would turn our tassels and sing our alma mater together, one last time. This peculiar time we're living in is out of our control, but in this instant, we have a choice. We can sit and feel robbed of the time we lost, or we can stand and be proud and celebrate the time we had. In these last 4 years, we have all grown in a multitude of ways and worked diligently to become prepared for the next exciting chapters of our lives. I believe that by taking what Moanalua has taught us over the years, we will find success in whatever we choose to do. While I hope you all remember the moments that you wish that time could stand still and the memories that will live in your hearts forever, I encourage you to also look forward eagerly to your futures. Kill people with kindness, love with the entirety of your heart, find happiness in whatever you choose, and most of all, live your life because there is no time to waste waiting for tomorrow. Do everything as if it's your last shot, and no matter what happens in the end, you will know you did everything you could to make it count. Now, it is your turn to write the beginning of the next chapter of your stories, your opportunity to choose the new paths and journeys you may want to take, and your time to continue to discover who you are. There are so many exciting things bound to happen in the span of your life, so make choices that will make each of your days worthwhile. To the class of 2020, the people who have helped us, supported us, and inspired us have all gifted us their valuable time. As we move on in our lives and embark on our new endeavors, remember that the time we spent here was a blessing that is not meant to go to waste. Take everything with you, and one day in life, when you have an opportunity to help someone, let the time you share with them be your gift. Thank you.
Thank you, Corin, and congratulations to all of our valedictorians. We are all very proud of your outstanding achievements and accomplishments.
At this time, I'm sure we are all reflecting on our moments, both good and bad, that led to this occasion. The diploma signifies the culmination of many years of hard work. Assignments, projects, activities, discussions, and assessments. They were rigorous, they were challenging, they were sometimes non-traditional, but they were crucial in providing relevant skills we will need to be successful. And while our time in high school is coming to an end, our diplomas catapult us to the start of new adventures and challenges.
Brian Abalos, magna cum laude. Sheila Abe. Kristen Abishima, summa cum laude. Janelle Akab, magna cum laude. Andrew Adinowin, summa cum laude. Benedict Christian Akawili, cum laude. Austin Agmata. Safira Akins, valedictorian. Angela May Alcantara, cum laude. Alia Alagones, cum laude. Jalissa Allen. Devin Leo Amion, cum laude. Harabel Leah Ancheta. Reed Anderson. Matthew Andres, summa cum laude. Tayo Anthony. Kayla Antolin, cum laude. Jessica Aquino, magna cum laude. Jacob Israel Asano. Lara Asato, magna cum laude. Elijah Asuncion. Tisha Maxine Asuncion, magna cum laude. Fiona Ayao Odom, valedictorian. Kiari Babino, magna cum laude. Priscilla Bay, valedictorian. Tirang Bay, valedictorian. Caden Bailey. Hilary Valenti. Matthew Carl Bonas. Phil Bantle. Drew Faith Bantolina, cum laude. Bryce Barcelona, magna cum laude. Amber Barnum, cum laude. Megan Marie Barron, cum laude. Angelica Baroga, summa cum laude. Julian Barton, cum laude. Adonis Piolo Basto. Carter Batts. Chris Bautista. Sakari Bell, cum laude. Kaylin Bersamin, valedictorian. Romeo Blenman Villarreal. Maureen Bonilla Padagas. Alessandra Borsos, magna cum laude. Ellen Mer Braga. Faith Britt. Caleb Brown. Jalen Bryant. Severino Bulagay, magna cum laude. Savannah Bolosan, summa cum laude. Brian Bulusan, cum laude. Nicholas James Bulusan. Natasha Okiko Burton, cum laude. Mary Gwyneth Busquet, magna cum laude. Shane Cachola, magna cum laude. Edeline Cadiena, summa cum laude. Malik Calloway. Lisa Cantu, cum laude. Jessica Aisley Carino. Kelsey Carter, cum laude. Malia Christian Carvalho Apo, cum laude. Chasley Ann Castro. Keely Mariah Castro. Joshua J. Chan. Samantha Chang, valedictorian. Shauna Santrell, cum laude. Caitlin Chow, cum laude. Joanne Chi, summa cum laude. Kaysen Chinan, cum laude. Julie Chan, summa cum laude. Jordan Chung, magna cum laude. Kaylin Chung. Vivian Ne Simarusti, cum laude. Traylene Laria Connor, cum laude. Sherry Lean Cosme, summa cum laude. Angelique Daga Arakaki. Ralph Lawrence Dagio Tongpalan. Kali Dagulo, cum laude. Megan Angel Dalit. Rogella David, summa cum laude. Alexis Davis, cum laude. Cruz Day, magna cum laude. Isabella D. Miguel, magna cum laude. Alexis Debino Bautista. Olivia DiMarco. Sonia Denton, magna cum laude. Sheila Dionisio, magna cum laude. Shalaya Dokes, cum laude. Krister John Paul Docto. Ryan Domingsel. Zachary Doty. McKenna Jame, magna cum laude. Deja Dume, cum laude. Darian Duriano. Eduardo Ellis, cum laude. Sophia Ellis, summa cum laude. Bashir L. Orm, cum laude. Gibran Emerson, valedictorian. Alyssa Inoki, cum laude. Malia Rose Eosibio, summa cum laude. Kamali'i Izera von Ohafen. Vincent Fan, valedictorian.
Makai Feldman. Gabriel Fernandez. Alj Kamohai Carliano Fernandez, cum laude. Seben Fernandez. Maria Belen Fadera Correa, valedictorian. Ryan Fielding, cum laude. Ethan Feigart, cum laude. Anakin Flazier. Cameron Flazier. Christian Fleming, cum laude. Bradley Florentino, cum laude. Alec Fong, cum laude. Jaden Fong, summa cum laude. Skylar Freitas, cum laude. Ethan Fu. Koa Fujii, magna cum laude. Heather Fujita, cum laude. Riley Fukuchi. Justin Gakayan, cum laude. Joshua Galeria, summa cum laude. Amaris Garcia, cum laude. Chandler James Garcia, cum laude. Julia Geib. Amy Jiang, valedictorian. Deja Gillespie, magna cum laude. Jaden Ginoza, valedictorian. Jacob Giriotis. Elijah Justa, cum laude. Sienna Go Garcia, magna cum laude. Cameron Gomes, cum laude. Destiny Gonzalez. Abigail Gonzalez. Talon Gu. Isaac Gordon, cum laude. Zachary Gordon. Sherwood Gould, cum laude. Josiah Govea.
Alkai Grace.
Andrea Guanco, cum laude. Carlos Guerrero Morel. Quinn Gabriel Guillermo. Kayla Gortiza, magna cum laude. Braden Gushikin, cum laude. Regine May Gusilitar. Jim Haba, cum laude. Timothy Ham, valedictorian. Jaylene Haruo, summa cum laude. Billy Hashimoto. Zoe Hayashida. Yi Ling He, valedictorian. Kate Helbush, valedictorian. Erin Hendrickson. Christopher Hernandez. Joel Hernandez. Dorian Higashi, summa cum laude. Alyssa Hirai, valedictorian. Ethan Ho, summa cum laude. McCade Ho, cum laude. Megan Hogg, magna cum laude. Annabelle Hollenrake, magna cum laude. Kyle Hughley. Rachel Hewlett, valedictorian. Kaylee Hung, valedictorian. Kaylee Ildefonso. Benjamin Inamine, magna cum laude. Carissa Ing, valedictorian. Jasmine Ingram, magna cum laude. Dallas Inoue, valedictorian. Anthony Jandok, cum laude. Xander Michael Jasmine. Richard James Javar, cum laude. Kira Jun. Ronson Jun. Xinyang Zhang, cum laude. TJ John. Darius Johnson. Gabriella Johnson. Travis Johnston, cum laude. America Jones. Danae Jones. Maya Jones, cum laude. Eugene Jong, summa cum laude. Dwight Ju, valedictorian. Jenna Justo, cum laude. Corin Isa, valedictorian. Mari Kimoto, summa cum laude. Luke Kaahaaina. Keli'i Namoku Kaaloa, magna cum laude. Tyler Common, summa cum laude. Dallas Kahue, magna cum laude.
Mika Kameda, cum laude.
Ethan Kame, summa cum laude. Megan Kasparik. Judah Katil. Nainoa Kauhola, cum laude. Caleb Kaulukukui Palisbo. Kiana Kawahara, valedictorian. Brandon Kawakami Tabios, cum laude. Kimi Kawasaki, valedictorian. Rudy Kealohi. Aiden Kearns, cum laude. Ezekiel Kinui. Joseph Kim, magna cum laude. Joshua Kim. Kelly Kitano Maguire, cum laude. Jasmine Ko, summa cum laude. Megan Kobayashi, summa cum laude. Brooke Kumasaka, magna cum laude. Emily Kwan, cum laude.
Tristan LeBoy. Micah Richie Lazaro, cum laude. Ricky Lee. Devon Leek. Jonah Antonio Paul Ledford. Lawson Lee. Sang Min Lee, magna cum laude. McKenna Lehua Lemapu. Ashley Leong, cum laude. Princess Tialina Leota, cum laude. Emily Luthner, valedictorian. Ronnie Lewis. Edison Lee. Jamie Lee, magna cum laude. Sandra Leong, summa cum laude. Brandy Lilo, cum laude. Joyce Lin, valedictorian. Ariel Liu. Alan Long, magna cum laude. Jeremy Lorenzo. Brianne Lewis Mary, valedictorian. Jonte Love. Tigiralani Lua Falialo. Falelagi Lulu. Jordan Lum. Casey Lum Belaski. Jenna Lynch, valedictorian. Jericho Macabante, summa cum laude. Arjun Magadia. Amber Makua, summa cum laude. Taylor Manlapit. Jordan Alexis Mann, cum laude. Jaden Marbury, valedictorian. Andre Marin, cum laude. Charity Martin. JC Martin, cum laude. Sheldon Machino. Tony Matayoshi, cum laude. Michael Mato. Zachary Matsudo, magna cum laude. Rashad Maynard. Anicia McCrae, cum laude. Caden McElroy. Taylor John McGarity. Isabella McCrae, valedictorian. Dieris McCraven, cum laude. Haley Medlock, cum laude. Kaylin Mendiha. Brandon Mendoza, summa cum laude. Malachi Mendoza, cum laude. Patrick Menzel, cum laude. Kaylee Messina, magna cum laude. Hunter Mew, summa cum laude. Marie Victoria Meyer, magna cum laude. Kristen Mimura, valedictorian. Taylana Minor Hole. Jacob Misipati. Kai Miyabuchi, magna cum laude. Kelson Miyata. Caleb Molina. Nico Montano. Jania Montero Holk, summa cum laude. Griffin Motas, cum laude. Juliana Mott, summa cum laude. Zachary Moritzen, valedictorian. Leanne Muneno, magna cum laude. Kylie Murakami, magna cum laude. Parker Murasaki. Kayla Musrazrik, cum laude. Elaine Leilani Muyano, magna cum laude. Braden Nagasako, summa cum laude. Trent Nakata, summa cum laude. Juan Pablo Nava Alcantara, summa cum laude. Jordan Dylan Navarro, magna cum laude. Emily Negron, cum laude. William Ng, cum laude. Joe Nguyen. Hua Nguyen, magna cum laude. Linda Nguyen, cum laude. Vivian Nguyen, valedictorian. Yvette Nguyen, magna cum laude. Monica Nishimura, magna cum laude. Ezekiel Nuesca. Trinity Oakland, cum laude. Angelica Destiny Obena, cum laude. Caitlin Oda. Dane Ogata, cum laude. Suzune Okada, cum laude. Michael Olivas, cum laude. Deanan Oliveros, cum laude. Joshua Omori, summa cum laude. Genoa Ryan Orias, cum laude. Zantong Oyang, magna cum laude. Kayla Pabo, magna cum laude. Lauren Padavong. Kayla Paiva, cum laude. Sid Palacio, magna cum laude. Luke Halale, magna cum laude. Nicole Angela Pulsis, summa cum laude. Lyra Panarigan, valedictorian. Asia Park, cum laude. Reina Pasquale, magna cum laude. Christina Pashan. AJ Patalinghal, summa cum laude. Caitlin Patterson, magna cum laude. Phil Hawaii Jade Paul. Olivia Paulino, cum laude. Michael Pollock, cum laude. Daniela Pena, magna cum laude. Kainalu Pereira, cum laude. Janelle Perez, cum laude. Lana Perez. Amaya Peters, summa cum laude. Kayla Piosalan, summa cum laude. Trisha Adlanier Puyawin, magna cum laude. Wen Hao Q, summa cum laude. Azana Queen, valedictorian. Destiny Le Ramilo, cum laude. Sierra Ramos Carranza. Zia Renee Rapata, magna cum laude. Alexander Ray.
Jalen Reed, summa cum laude. Shuhei Renasha, cum laude. Lauren Recitar, magna cum laude. Luke Reyes, magna cum laude. Jacob Richmond, cum laude. Kaylee Riley, magna cum laude. Seashell Rivera. Ethan Robinall. Sunny Rodriguez, cum laude. Astrid Rodriguez, magna cum laude. Nicole Sadaya. Brad Saguscio, cum laude. Rylan Sakai, cum laude. Ezra Sakuma, cum laude. Spencer Sakuma, magna cum laude. Chitana Saladier, magna cum laude. Amanda Saludes, magna cum laude. Vincent Salvatore. Angelique Samiano Rivera, cum laude. Christian Samson Miyagi. Isaiah San Diego, cum laude. Sheridan Sano, cum laude. Sadies Santella de Lima. D. Sasaki, cum laude. Kylie Sassano. Ethan Schoenfeld, magna cum laude. Sheldon Schumann. DeErica Scott. Braxton Sena. Diego Serrano. Mohammed Shahidanajid, magna cum laude. Brandon Sheen, magna cum laude. Jacob Shigeta, summa cum laude. Brian Shimabukuro, cum laude. Zachary Shiroma. Caleb Simeon, cum laude. Javon Singletary. Jarek Ciruno. Christian Sison. Jason Siu. Andre Smith. Mercedes Smith, cum laude. Lana Son. Sally Son, summa cum laude. Edwin Sonoda. Connor Santivanolat. Cole Souza. Kaylee Spencer.
Zyra Spencer, magna cum laude.
Noelani Stevens.
Caleb Stout.
Claire Sugawa, summa cum laude. Hannah Sutton, cum laude. Janae Taklas, magna cum laude. Mickey Tata, magna cum laude. Jaden Itula, cum laude. Dane Takai, cum laude. Trevin Takaki. Norifumi Takami, valedictorian. Jaslyn Tam. Ernest Jordan Tamayo, magna cum laude. Jasmine Tamon. Jia Long Tang, cum laude. Jet Tanigawa, cum laude. Rashad Tanner. Brendan Tano, magna cum laude. Chester Jim Tapia, cum laude. Renee Tataipu. Jeremiah Tawai. Cross Tau Faasau. Sherfei Te, valedictorian. Sean Taylor, cum laude. Napu Tedtautau, magna cum laude. Jadel Tapang, magna cum laude. Kevi Teshima, summa cum laude. Chasmin Thurman, cum laude. Kiana Marie Tilly, summa cum laude. Zachary Timuiala Tongo. Colby Tomita, summa cum laude. Zolbo Tomita, summa cum laude. Kiana Tonokawa, magna cum laude. Zane Toribio, cum laude. Kitana Torres, cum laude. Amy Toyama, summa cum laude. Emily Tran. Hao Tran, cum laude. Suzanne Tran, magna cum laude. Marnie Trujillo, cum laude. Janea Tuimavave. Ruth Tuiole Motu, cum laude. Jaden Tyler. Tony Ulima. Jalen Faith Valenzuela. Joshua Jersey Ballesteros, magna cum laude. Daniel Van, summa cum laude. Janet Marie Velez Nazario, summa cum laude. Michael Venable. Kaylee Ann Vincents, magna cum laude. Harleen Mary Villa Delgado, summa cum laude. Jordan Villanueva. Joshua Villanueva, valedictorian. Matthew Villanueva. Dennis Vitalin. Jada Vonzelaskowski. Kimokeo Walters. Sarah Warner, magna cum laude. Taylor Washington. Bailey Weflin, magna cum laude. Kyra Leigh Weisbarth Jose. Nathaniel Weitzel. Brett Witt, cum laude. Maxwell Womack, cum laude. Carol Wong, valedictorian. Cam Yan Wong. Shan Long She, magna cum laude. Michelle Yamamoto, valedictorian. Peyton Yamamoto, cum laude. Dawson Yamasaki, summa cum laude. Haley Yamasato, cum laude. Sarah Yamashiro. Kristen Yamate, cum laude. Renee Yano, summa cum laude. Caitlin Yap, cum laude. Tyler Yabe, summa cum laude. Taylor Yokoi. Cara Lynn Yonetta, magna cum laude. Jansen York, magna cum laude. Jada Young. Chloe Yvonne Ewan. Tiffany Yug. Spencer Zaharis, cum laude. Diego Zamora, cum laude. Zhao Hong Zheng, cum laude. Alicia Zhang, valedictorian.
Our class advisor, Mrs. Sandra Nakagawa Saito, will now address the class and present the class of 2020 to Principal Ms. Martin.
Ms. Martin, I present to you the Moanalua High School graduating class of 2020. They have fulfilled all the graduation requirements set forth by the Hawaii State Department of Education and the Board of Education.
On behalf of the Department of Education, State of Hawaii, and the Superintendent, Dr. Christina Kishimoto, I proudly accept this class of 2020 as graduates of Moanalua High School.
The turning of the tassel also signifies this transition from student to graduate. It is now time for us, the Moanalua High School class of 2020, to symbolically move from being students to being proud alumni of Moanalua High School. Our class president, Ryan Fielding, and valedictorian, Corin Issa, will lead us in the turning of the tassel. As this commencement celebration draws to a close, I know that we are all experiencing many different feelings. While some of us are sad to be leaving, some of us are excited and ready to be on our way. However, I am sure that there is one feeling we all share, and that is our pride in having been part of this amazing school, Moanalua High School. Whether we have been here for all 4 years or for only a portion of that, we all have many memories that we would treasure throughout our lives.
And as we close, we would again like to thank everyone who has contributed to our lives in different ways. To our parents, families, teachers, coaches, friends, and mentors. Thank you from all of us.
On the behalf of the class of 2020, we would like to thank you once again for sharing in our commencement. Please stay safe. A hui hou kako until we meet again. Thank you.